What's happening, party people? This is your daily morning motivational message because motivation is a lot like taking a bath or brushing your teeth. You want to have that daily, consistent habit of not allowing the dust to settle, not allowing the plaque to accumulate, not allowing the dirt to build up on your body, which creates other issues. It triggers other issues, right? You can have body odor. You can clog up your sweat glands. You can feel an extra burden of weight because there's a heaviness when you're not clean. All of these things trigger into other things that make your life more difficult and unbearable eventually if you're not having that daily maintenance. And we got to do the same thing for our minds, right? We got to keep our minds sharp. We have to keep them clean. We have to protect our minds because it is a fortress that we are having to build around it because it is the most powerful tool and weapon of transformation that you will ever possess. That is your mind. And so when we learn to cultivate our minds and develop and strengthen them, it's Mental Tough Takeover Tuesday, by the way, we can actually create the life that we aspire to. And we can create even greater aspirations. But I want to talk to you today about the power of clarity. Clarity is so important because when you have clarity, it allows you to keep the main thing the main thing. It allows you to keep your eyes on the prize. It allows you to stay focused and directed and deliberate and determined toward your outcome. And when you have that in your life, you become an unstoppable force of nature. Because you got to understand something. In this era that we're living in, it is an era of massive distractions, so much noise, so many ways to interrupt your thought patterns, so many ways to infect your mind with memes and viruses, so many ways to get you off your game. Brain rot is real. Brain rot is real. Why? Because we have these weapons of mass distraction at the end of our arms instead of our hands, and how we are being used by those weapons of mass distractions instead of using them for a weapon of focused direction is the difference between creating the success and the results that we aspire to or being victim of all of the noise and the distractions that come our way each and every day. Powerful forces are aligned in algorithms and commercialism and propaganda and messaging that is designed to keep us stuck on stupid, to keep us off track from our own beaten path. Each of us has something special that we bring to this world. We have talent, skills, and abilities that's our responsibility to cultivate, develop, and then share in a positive, impacting way with those around us. Have you ever noticed that you had the occasion of watching someone who is exceptional at what they do? Could be an athlete, could be an entertainer, could be a musician, could be a scholar. And whatever that thing is, that area, they are exceptional in doing it. And you watch them and you're like, wow, man, that's pretty special. That's awesome. It makes you feel something when you see someone stepping into their greatness. And then there might be an off occasion. Maybe it's an interview, maybe it's an off camera thing and they didn't know they were on camera. And they say something or they do something and you're like, oh, wow, really? Dag, I thought a lot better of you than that. Or, woo, that's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Or, man, that's how you process that? Like, wow. And the reason that happens is because when people are utilizing the power of clarity, they're focused on that one thing. They're not spending time educating themselves on all these other areas that are happening in the world. So they're really not in any position to be speaking on it. But the reason they have a microphone is because they're known for one thing, and that gives them a bigger microphone. It doesn't mean that they're intelligent or gifted or skilled at whatever they're commenting on. There is no correlation between having success in one thing, which means it's going to translate into something else. That is not true. So it happens. It's rare. It happens, but there's no correlation in that. So we all have these experiences. They say, hey, don't get too close and don't get to know people that you respect and admire from a distance, because more often than not, you're going to be disappointed. And that's a real thing. Because again, we're watching someone who has harnessed the power of clarity in order to do something at an exceptionally high level. That's what I want to invite you to do. It's okay if you don't watch any news for the rest of the year for 2026. It's okay. If it's really, really important, I promise you somebody will get you the information. It's okay if you're not up on the latest television show or Netflix gig or the latest movie or the latest Oscar winning film. It's okay if you don't know about the who's spitting the tea on this, that, the other, and you're not up on the latest gossip. It's okay if you're not hip to who's hot in music, who's not. It's okay. I would rather you put that time, energy, and effort into your dreams and your goals. I would rather you harness the power of clarity so that we can bring more of what you're supposed to be doing, developing your gifts, talents, and skills and abilities, and bringing that to bear in the market. I'd rather you do that than spend all your time digesting and watching other people and other things that are designed to distract you and keep you stuck. See, the phone, unfortunately, for many people is a companion. It's not just a tool to call somebody because there's so many other things that you can do with it. It is a weapon of mass distraction. Your job is to use it as a weapon of focused direction. When you use it in that way, it becomes much more productive. I use it to make phone calls. I use it to send text messages. I use it to return calls. I use it to send emails. I have social media that I do business with, and then I get in and I get out. I get in and I get out. And if I'm making calls, I'm making calls. That's not a problem. But what can happen is you get out, you pick up your phone, and with ease, you can fall into the dopamine hit of the phone verse, right? So now you find yourself scrolling, you're watching videos, you're watching TV shows, you're watching pranks, you're watching sporting events, and you're scrolling and you're scrolling and you're on social media and you're watching this page and scrolling on that and commenting on this and that. And there's no purpose, there's no direction to it. And you look up and 30 minutes have passed. Well, because those dopamine hits are easily accessible. And when dopamine is easily accessible, it becomes much more addictive. That's how people get addicted to alcohol. Why? Because alcohol, I can get it anywhere. Go to the gas station, corner store, grocery store, even on Sunday, and I can get liquored up. I can at any point in time grab a pack of cigarettes and go and get my smoke on. I can at any point in time go to known areas where I can get good drugs and go get my drugs and get high. It's easily accessible, which makes it easily to be get addicted to. Same thing with your phone, but the phone is far more insidious. Why? Because the phone is very subtle. See, if I've been watching prank videos all day, there's nothing that's going to tell you immediately that I'm having brain rot. Like when you're drunk, people can tell because you're trying to act like you're not drunk. When you smoke, people can tell because you stink. When you're high, people can tell because you're not, your eyes are glassy, there's a physiological change. But with the phone and the distractions within the phone, you can't necessarily tell that. It's very subtle, but it happens moment to moment to moment to moment. I cannot tell you how many places of business I've walked into and I've seen employees, their superiors, all got their heads in their phone. I see somebody at the security desk. If they're not doing security, they got their head in their phone. How many places have you gone into in the last 3 to 4 days? You've seen somebody with their head in their phone. How many times have you walked up and down the street and you see people with their heads in their phone? You go into a place like a food court. How many people got their heads in their phone? They're sitting across from each other, but their heads are in their phones. This is a problem. It is an epidemic. The power of clarity is not being harnessed. I'm inviting you to level up. Give yourself the opportunity to fast from all of the other stuff on your phone. It's okay if you don't know what's happening all over the world. There will always be things happening all over the world. And whether you're here or not, it's still going to continue to happen. Ain't nothing you could do about it. So why are you getting all sucked up into stuff that you have no control over? You want to talk about things you have no control over. What if you put that energy with the power of clarity into things that you have a direct impact on? Whose life can you directly impact right now? How can you directly serve your business? How can you directly get closer to your goals by the actions that you take? How can you get online and learn something that's going to help you get closer to your goal? What if you put all of your energy there, harnessing the power of clarity, instead of falling victim to these weapons of mass distraction? It is insidious. You're talking about mega billion-dollar companies. You're talking about huge conglomerates that are strategically utilizing algorithms, messaging, propaganda to keep you distracted permanently. Brain rot is real. Don't fall victim to it. Distractions are in abundance. Interruptions are always going to come. It is your ability to harness that power of clarity and know how to successfully navigate it so you don't get sucked into somebody else's frenetic pace, somebody else's frenetic rhythm. Don't get sucked into somebody else's chaos, somebody else's drama, somebody else's noise. Misery loves company. I'm inviting you to take a fast from all the other trash that's in your phone and just be intentional and focused. If you got business to do on social media, get on there, do your business, and get out. If you got to call somebody, call them. If you want to return a call, send a text. But be intentional, ladies and gentlemen. Be efficient and allow yourself to be all about the power of clarity. I'm not saying it's a good idea to only just be so absorbed and obsessed. And obsession is good, okay? Because what's your obsession becomes your possession. I'm not saying you can't take 30 minutes a week, 30 minutes a week to stay informed, okay? But no more. It doesn't take that long. Information's everywhere, okay? And you can source it, right? You can source it here, have 3 or 4 sources that you want to check it up against. Great. And then get back to work. Get back to work. It's 168 hours in a week, so 30 minutes is not going to lead to brain rot. But see, people are on their phones all the time. And they've cultivated and developed the habit of perpetually scrolling on their phones, perpetually putting their head down into social media, getting buried and lost in the sauce, sucked into the vortex, going down the toilet bowl flush. And it leads to a mind virus, meme virus. Those are real things. They're very intentional. And it causes you to have emotional reactions to what you're taking in. And these things do not help you perform better on your job, do not help you build a more successful business, do not help you get in better shape, spiritual shape, financial shape, relationship shape, physical and fitness shape. These things are not helping you. But the dopamine hit is addictive. The biological response where you get emotional about something you see on social media, it fires you up. You say, I can't believe that. It's making me so mad. I can't believe they're doing that. And you exhaust yourself. You expend emotional energy voicing and giving your energy and attention to those things because there's an emotional dopamine hit. And it becomes addictive. And you can't help it. You can't help it. You put your phone down, you pick it up 5 minutes later, you don't even know you're picking it up. It becomes a subconscious habit pattern, and that's what leads to brain rot. That's why you can't stay focused. That's why you're not making progress on your goals. That's why you're not getting closer to your outcomes. Remember, for those of you who were not, whether you were around or not, there was a time when we didn't have all of this. When we had to get up and we had to go to the wall and pick up the phone and make a call, hang up the phone, and go back to our business. There was a time when we had to be intentional with our time, and we spent way more time in our imagination than we did sucking up somebody else's propaganda, somebody else's viewpoint, somebody else's opinion, somebody else's noise. I invite you to harness the power of clarity. Do it for the next 30 days and watch what happens to your life, but more importantly, feel what happens in your mind. If you got some value out of this, please like and subscribe and share this video because it is a blessing to be a blessing. We'll see you tomorrow.